the desired objects. This is the law of life.
Okay, so here he's just telling you that how the yagna and deva, how we should be thinking now about that. So the deva is a productive potential, and yagna is a self-dedicated work performed in the spirit of sacrifice. Okay, so self-dedicated means you have an altar and a spirit of sacrifice. I have to sacrifice something, and this is a law of life. This is how you get the desired object. So तुमको मिल गया उसका फल. Okay.
And when we thus earn a profit due to our sacrifices, we have every right to enjoy that profit, sharing it among ourselves. But no living creature should enjoy benefits of others' actions without contributing his own share to the total effort. In the capitalistic system of life, we notice the wrong tendency of self-aggrandizement of profits produced out of the collective efforts of millions of workers. This ultimately creates sad maladjustments in all spheres of activity, and national and international peace is threatened when we thus upset the law of harmony in life. The statement that a member of a society who consumes without producing is a liability to the nation is a familiar idea in modern finance. The same point is represented in the language of the Vedas in the second line of this stanza.
So he's just telling you that we know this concept very well, but it is here Krishna Bhagavan is just explaining it, or in his own way, the whole concept. And we know that people who, the society who consume without producing is a liability to the nation. अगर वो कर सकता है तो, so that's what it is.
He who enjoys objects given by the devas, the productive potential tapped, without offering his own yajna efforts into it, termed here by Krishna as the social thief. Considering the moral and ethical idealism recognized and respected at the time of the Geeta, the term thief used here is indeed a powerful word, fully employing the low depravity and disrespectful nature of such a social criminal who eats without producing.
तो उन्होंने स्वामी जी ने और भी स्ट्रॉन्ग वर्ड यूज किया, फिर उन्होंने कृष्ण भगवान ने थीफ बोला, उन्होंने तो उसको क्रिमिनल ही बोल दिया कि द डिसरिस्पेक्टफुल नेचर है उसका, एंड ही ईट्स विदाउट प्रोड्यूसिंग. सो वो एक आई थिंक स्टोरीज में आता है, पौराणिक स्टोरीज में, कि भाई when you do yagna, that's when the devatas get more power, and then they in turn they give you. और अगर देवता ज़्यादा अभिमानी हो जाते हैं तो भी प्रॉब्लम, और इस तरफ वाले हो जाते हैं तो भी प्रॉब्लम. So actually it is basically what it is that the whole universe works in a harmony, and it is like an orchestra. Okay, you can call it Brahman the conductor and everybody else is the player in it. और अगर हर एक जन सोचे अगर ऑर्केस्ट्रा में कि मैं अपने लिए ही बजाऊंगा, प्रॉब्लम. बट इफ यू थिंक ओ मेक आई हैव टू क्रिएट दिस ब्यूटिफुल म्यूजिक एंड आई हैव टू सिंग इन हार्मनी और प्ले माई इंस्ट्रूमेंट, फिर वो सबको ध्यान में रखते हुए बजाता है तो एक बहुत सुंदर सिम्फनी निकलने लगती है. That was a very good example. One of the saints gave that example.
So these devtas, do they have same power like God?
No.
Are they same?
Not. Limited power.
Limited power, but
for example, Agni Devta cannot have the power of the Vayu.
Yeah, I know.
पर God को तो पास सभी power है ना.
Yeah, but the thing is, like in our Mahabharata, we are seeing all these things कि उस देवता को वो करने के लिए इंद्रदेव जो है वो उसका रूप भर के आते हैं भिक्षुक का, और कर्ण से ये मांगते हैं.
क्यों मांगते हैं? क्यों मांगा आपके हिसाब से? क्यों मांगा?
क्यों मांगा?
इन द बिगर पिक्चर क्यों मांगा उन्होंने?
बात क्यों की नहीं है.
नहीं, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है बात. क्यों 100% क्यों की है? बिकॉज कोई भी काम करो तो सोच के करना चाहिए. ऐਵੇਂ ही थोड़ी कि मेरे को उसको क्या करना था, कुंडल और उसको लेके क्या करना था उसको. उसको कोई
वो
सोने
अपनी
का
बेटी
महल
को
बनाना था
बचाना चाह
कुंडल
रहा
लेके,
है,
हाँ.
because he wanted to save his own son Arjun.
दैट वो सरफेस में दिखाई देता है वैसा,
हाँ
बट
हाँ.
द रियलिटी में ही वाज ट्राइंग टू हेल्प कृष्ण भगवान, बिकॉज धर्म युद्ध था वो. धर्म युद्ध में करण वाज एक्सट्रीमली केपेबल. करण कुड annihilate the whole army. करण had all the powers. लेकिन अगर एक पावर को तुम गलत साइड में लाके खड़ा कर दो, पूरे दुनिया को डिस्ट्रॉय कर देगा वो. तो he had to take away his power so that he loses, the bad side loses. See, ये पौराणिक स्टोरी में ना अगर आप सिर्फ सरफेस पे रहोगे आपको कुछ नहीं मिलने वाला, लेकिन you have to go deeper into it. So everybody is doing their job. Whoever recognized that कृष्ण भगवान ने धर्म युद्ध फाइट करने के लिए वो जन्म लिया था यहाँ पर धरती के ऊपर, then that's why वो उसके सारथी भी बन गए ना. नहीं तो अपने को इंडिया में बोलेंगे, एक तरफ तो कर्ण को बोलते हैं सूत पुत्र, ये है वो है, राइट, ये सारथी का बेटा. यहाँ कृष्ण भगवान सारथी बन के बैठे हुए हैं. इमेजिन, यू नो. सो वो कृष्ण भगवान को हेल्प करने के लिए उसने किया, बट ऊपर ऊपर से दिखता है ऐसा. लोगों को जूसी स्टोरीज बहुत अच्छी लगती है कि वो अपने बेटे को बचाने के लिए उसने किया, ये किया, वो किया. बट जो सात्विक लोग होते हैं वो दूरदर्शी होते हैं, वो आगे का सोचते हैं, यू नो.
एक एग्जाम्पल है उसका ना, गोवर्धन का, गोवर्धन पर्वत. Devtas were shrinking their responsibilities. Then Krishna Bhagwan told them to stop worshipping Devtas. And that's when the rain came and he lifted the Govardhan.
उनको अभिमान हो गया था, बिकॉज ये देवता जो, इफ यू गो बैक इन टू वेरी निट्टी ग्रिटी, व्हेन वी आर डूइंग कठोपनिषद इट्स गोना बिकम क्लियर कि देवता का भी जो है ना लिमिटेड पावर होता है. इट इज जस्ट ए पोजिशन that it gets changed again and again by different people. Kamla ji, I hope you know that Indra is not a permanent Indra over there. उसका टर्म खत्म होगा, नया इंद्र आएगा. आप भी इंद्र बन सकते हो अगर हम, if we become very sattvic and all that, one day God can give you an Indra position. So these are positions filled by different people. But when you talk about Brahman, is beyond all this. Brahman is like, we have studied Brahman. Otherwise whole class will go in this Brahman only. Basically it is, these positions are given. Sometimes because they are still entities, they are not fully realized, they might have certain negativities in them. Like Indra ka to bahut kuch bataya hai, negativities.
That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, they are not ultimate.
Indra actually is always watching for maintaining his position. तो जब वो ऋषि was doing तपस्या, तो उसने मेनका को भेजा ताकि उसका भंग हो जाए. तो
हाँ, तो यही चीजें सोच के वो लगता है कि भाई दे डोंट हैव ऑल द, वो भगवान का स्वरूप तो नहीं है, उनमें कुछ तो नेगेटिविटी है.
किसी ने बोला नहीं कि वो भगवान का स्वरूप है. That's not how we understand all these Puranic stories. They are not भगवान का स्वरूप तो वो है कि जो धरती पर रहते हुए भी some realized soul are भगवान का स्वरूप. But Indra does not come in that category. It's just a position with lot of, he has a lot of sattva in it, no doubt. Sometimes, these serials and all, they make Indra like a complete villain. That's not true. He did have a lot. तभी तो उसको position मिली कि भाई he had a lot of good qualities, but not all the way there yet. No. He did not. So just these are the things will get clarified as we go along in Bhagavad Gita.
So who become devata?
मैंने बताया ना, आप भी बन सकते हो. जो हमने बहुत पुण्य काम कर लिए, फिर हम स्वर्ग में पहुंच गए और वहां भी हमने अच्छे अच्छे काम किए, तो आपको बना देंगे देवता. आपको कोई देवता का पोजीशन मिल जाएगा फिर.
तो मतलब वहां भी वो इलेक्शन चलते हैं?
Oh yes, big time. वो अगर इलेक्शन से छूटना है तो मोक्ष की तरफ जाना पड़ेगा. बाकी that's why कृष्ण भगवान says in भगवद गीता that if you go indirect route, हाँ तुमको मिलेगा सब कुछ, but it is temporary. that वो खत्म होएगा तो फिर धरती पे गिरोगे, and then again you have to work towards it.
Brahma is the appointed position. It's a limited time.
Limited time appointed position.
Brahma is a limited time position.
So can I conclude it this way, that when we work on our chakras, By reaching to the Agya Chakra, we can be self-realized soul by opening our third eye. But by opening our third eye, we can reach to Deva's status after we die.
No. You cannot conclude like that. No, because what you are trying to do is you have one paddhati only you are talking about. That's one line of practice. So what you have to do.
I'm trying to understand through that line, that how that line connect to the ultimate.
See, while working in that line, you have to have a clarity of your goal also. That hey, if you want just Indra position, that's not going through the highest in your line also.
No, I know. That's why I'm trying to correlate that when you open your third eye, you can reach only to Deva status.
What do you mean by opening third eye, first of all?
When your crown chakra opens and you reach to Samadhi, that's when you attain moksha.
Yes, but what do you understand by opening up the third eye, though, or the Sahasra Chakra? What does it say in yoga? It is a chitta vritti nirodha and all those kind of things. They say that you have to completely become pure. It's not as the journey goes, you will become pure. Once you have a complete purity, then you will merge.
So can I say? So we are saying perhaps that when we have not risen above the three gunas, let's put it this way. When we rise above the three gunas, that's when we attain moksha.
True.
And when we fall short of that, then we attain swarga and we become devta or something. We bhokte hain apne karam, अच्छे karam and अच्छे phal for a while in the swarg as devtas or whatever, and then return to this earth.
True.
Okay.
Yeah, you can say that. So there are several ways to catch this, and whatever Geeta ji, you said, that's true. That's exactly what it is. That if you have not reached all the way, then you may not need to come back to earth. You will go to the swarg. Swarg is like the way our teacher used to explain is like a vacation. जैसे कि अभी मेरे बैंक में बहुत सारे अच्छे पैसे जमा हो गए, now I can take a good vacation. Vacation doesn't last forever. जब मेरे पैसे खत्म हो जाएंगे, in just like a rough example, तो मेरे को वापस आना पड़ेगा. तो हमारे जितने भी पुण्य अर्जित किए हैं हमने, उससे हमको स्वर्ग मिल जाएगा, वहाँ पोजीशन भी कुछ मिल जाएगी, वो सब भोग भाग के हम वापस आ गए. Then again you start over. So Krishna Bhagwan बोल रहे हैं, while you have the human birth, you don't need to go in between. You can straight go to moksha. Okay, and merge with me. And then you don't have to come back and go through all these limited things, because in swarg may be problem, like we were saying. That's all it is.
So forget about talking like normal being like me and you. What happens to these self-realized souls like Sadguru, Shri Shri, Paramahansa Yogananda, in Chinmaya Mission, what Swami Chinmayanand ji. So where do they go?
You can say that if you want to believe that way, they merge with God, and then once you merge, then you say, hey, do you come back? You will come back if you want to. It's like Krishna Bhagwan they call it the avatar. They don't call it like he took birth and, there's a difference between, he's going to talk about it in Bhagavad Gita. There is a birth that happens as an avatar and our birth. What is the difference? We will come to it in chapter 4. That, hey, when you come because of your karma and all. They are beyond the karma. They came because they just want to do a good job. Good job meaning they want to fix something. It's like कोई फैक्ट्री किसी ने बनाई है, उसमें गड़बड़ हो रहा है, अब जाके मेरे को फिक्स करना है, तो वो जाता है. लेकिन जो काम करने वाला है वो पैसे के लिए काम कर रहा है. This guy is doing it for a different purpose. So there are certain aspects of avatar versus a normal birth. So when you get moksha, that's what it means, that you have become one with the universe, one with God, and then everything is available to you. You can create your own solar system if you want to, or things like that. I'm just going a little technical, but that's what it means.
No, but even these self-realized souls, they also have to go, they also have liberated. Till that time, they'll also be taking birth.
No,
But their role in life will be more advanced, like helping more people. They're not worried about these small things, that anger and all this thing. They're all about that. But still, they also have to attain moksha to merge with God. Then
no,
they don't
she's
come
talking
back.
about actual moksha. You're right. So what Sneha is saying is, suppose if you have purified a lot, or in on Geeta ji's language, hey, you have risen about a lot on three gunas, but you're not completely there yet. But say 80%, 90%, then you are born as a saint and you are helping somebody, and we have different levels of it. See, we are not there to judge. We don't know. This is a personal journey. Okay, just to understanding we can discuss and all, but nobody will know who got moksha, who didn't, because it is their personal journey. But basically, until you get that moksha, you have to come back little bit forcibly on the earth. But once you get the moksha, then you come as an avatar. If I don't know if that makes sense to you. Yeah. Okay, good. All right. Any other burning question about this?
One more question.
Sure.
Is the yajna spirit. Okay, you did yajna, you got the fruits. I can see there, that is, you could be selfish, you could be proud, or thanking, even if nothing else, but knowing the principle behind who is doing all that. Would you call that still a yajna spirit? Do you know what I'm saying?
No, I kind of missed the point. Sorry.
I did that. When
okay.
Would you consider that, instead of saying I did that and therefore I got the fruits, instead of that, if nothing else, could you say that his power, that he did it, and because of that I'm getting it? Would you call that as a yajna spirit or not?
See, I see where you're coming from. Krishna Bhagwan over here came to a little lower level in this two verses to tell us that when you get the fruits, don't hog it. Like in apna modern language mein bolte hain na, don't hog it.
Yeah.
Just share it. Okay. So that doesn't mean, like our teacher used to say कि तुमको कोई you have a talent. Okay. Suppose किसी का talent है, he's a very good, great businessman. He can create a lot of wealth. Does that mean I'm being selfish? No, you can create as much wealth. Do that, but then distribute it. Daan karo, and in your own company, make sure that your employees are well taken care of and all that. And what you are saying is something higher. You are saying, hey, I know that this is, my ego is down in this case, because I'm saying everything has come from God. अगर मेरा इतना high thinking है मीना जी, तो मैं कभी भी hold करूंगी नहीं. Okay? I will definitely share. So that is a given thing. Once my ego is gone, I will be thinking about the whole world then. I will not be thinking. That's why these lot of swamis and all that, if they are true swami, they are very simple people. They take minimum from this universe and they gave the maximum. Okay? So, true. If I'm at that stage, I got everything covered anyway. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
You know, some of you, we cannot see the faces of you. Are you doing that on purpose, or you just turned off your video by mistake? Meena ji. We cannot see you. Meena, Geeta, Sneha ka to I know that she has. Okay. Oh, sorry, we cannot hear you now, Meena ji.
I keep on turning off on that. Yes,
There are two buttons. One is a video, one is...
I did, but it didn't register. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. All right, anybody else?
Yeah, I had a comment that in a way, every karma is a yag. Only thing is, it could be sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic. And ultimately, what he says is that the yag can be of any form. Whatever talent you have, you can sacrifice that. And once you sacrifice to God, that is the real yag. So there are levels of these, you know.
Yeah, you can be. I mean, in the end, it's a journey for everyone. And like every time I say that there is no fixed rule over here. So that's why you have to absorb everything, personally reflect upon it, and see where you can apply this in your life. That's where the buck stops. We are not here to judge anybody. We are not here to say this or that, but these are the concepts that are very basic in the universe that, we never, in the modern way, the way the education is, they never talk about these things. Naturally, it might come to me, but sometimes it doesn't. I mean, imagine, हम लोग चोर उसी को समझते हैं ना कि जो आके चोरी वोरी कर ले. यहाँ कृष्ण को बोलते हैं, अरे तुम ऐसा नहीं करो, तुम चोर हो. Because you are taking something that don't belong to you. If God has given you a whole lot, He's given it for other purpose also. He's not given it so that you just, think about yourself only. That's the concept He's trying to bring over here.
The way I see, the way I understand, and this is in relation to Joe's point about tamasic and sattvic, etc., that when you are acting in yagna spirit, then obviously if you're thinking that, okay, this is going to be an action for yagna, you will become more conscious of not doing anything but sattvic or good. For example, if you're eating a meal and you say, okay, this food is going to be like a yagna for me, then perhaps, and this is no, comment on non-vegetarian food, but then maybe you will not you will not kill another being just to feed yourself. So you will become just more conscious of every action that you are going to perform if you become conscious that it will be done in the yagna spirit.
Excellent point.
I think तामसिक का एक्शन रहेगा ही नहीं, क्योंकि आप सोच के कर रहे हैं कि हमें जो करना है वो भगवान के लिए करना है. I think.
Yes, no, very, very, very good thinking, Miraji, and that's exactly what it is. Journey is to go towards the sattvic, and when you are in this mode, तुम सात्विक ही बन रहे हो. बिल्कुल सही बात कही आपने. तो अगर तामसिक का भी वो जब शुरू करेगा ना, शायद शुरू में तामसिक होगा, लेकिन अगर वो यज्ञ स्पिरिट में करना शुरू करेगा, उसको वो चिंतन करने के लिए फोर्स हो जाएगा कि, and it actually happened in my own family. That one of my bhabi and my brother, my brother loves meat, and bhabi started meditating, and she used to call me and say, I don't feel like eating meat now. But my brother was like too gung-ho on that. So she was going through that confusion that, hey, suddenly she didn't want to eat it. It slowly dawned upon her. So, they're just talking about meat, but it can be all the other action that they will turn towards sattvic automatically. But we can begin where we are, because that's, I think, the beauty of Bhagavad Gita, which again and again, to me, it is so fantastic. He doesn't discount anybody. कितना भी तुम नालायक हो, कितने भी तुम दुष्ट हो, लेकिन you can begin the journey, and if you do it the way he's telling you to, automatically you will turn around. Slowly and steadily you will go towards that. Okay. So I'm going to switch to the Upanishad now. So since some of the people join later, you may know this, may not, but I'll just summarize a little bit what Upanishad is, so that we are all in the same wavelength. So the Upanishad is called Vedanta also, and there are Veda is divided into different parts, and Upanishad is the last part, and the reason it's called Vedanta because this is where the main message or the final goal of Upanishad, of Vedas are there. That's why इसके बाद और कुछ नहीं है, इसलिए उसको अंत कहा गया है. Vedanta means this is the final conclusion. That's one thing. And the second thing is that what is the word meaning of Upanishad? So the Sanskrit meaning is Upnishad करके 3 words बनाए हैं. Up means near, Ni means नीचे, below, and Shad means to sit. So what he's trying to say is that ये वाला जो ब्रह्म ज्ञान है, that is the topic of Upanishad, is Brahma Gyan, the final conclusion. That we cannot get it ourselves. We have to sit near a guru, and you have to be humble. When you say below means it's humility. And you have to sit near Upanishad. So that's where it came. because otherwise it's like, hey, what does it mean? So you're sitting near a saint who knows about it, and you're learning from them, because it's a very subtle language. And if you just start to study it ourselves, that's why we have this study group, because we have this energy of the group that, we wrestle with the ideas and all that, and it opens up, asking questions and all that. And the way the Upanishad they did was in the conversational style. All of them are like that. And usually you have to have a qualification to study this. In a sense, you should know a lot before you get there. But like Swami Chinmayanandji had a different view in that within Chinmaya Mission also, they don't directly jump to certain books, because you have to have a background in it, and then you go slowly. Then the journey is smoother. Otherwise, the confusions can happen, And to me, studying Bhagavad Gita and Upanishad together, it kind of complements each other very, very well. Because if we just studied, that's how the Bhagavad Gita came in our class. We started with the Upanishad, then we realized, oh my God, these concepts are so big. So I started bringing Bhagavad Gita, and then we switched the other way around, which is fine too. Both are like that. So the one that we are doing, Kathopanishad, there is where the word came from. There are several different ideas into it. Some people believe there was a rishi named Katha, and then other people said it also has many other meanings. Katha Hindi mein bolte hai na, storytelling. So this is a story of a Nachiketa, a young boy, and who had a conversation with Yamraj, god of death. And we will see it is within the Upanishad only, the story beginning part of it is there. And to me, when I picked up this book, Tapomanji Maharaj, who was a guru of Chinmayanandji had two gurus, okay. The first one actually gave him the sannyas. What was his name?
Swami
Shivananji. Yeah, Shivananji I've been to his ashram over there. So Shivananji was the one that he had first contact with, and he spent a long time with him. But Shivananji sent him to Tapovan Maharaj, who used to live on this Uttar Kashi, and he never came down actually. Great Vairagi and great Vedantin. So unhone message divine, whoever has the book, and he did such a fantastic job in explaining what you should get from Kathopanishad. So we'll read that, and that's how we will start. We will go slow on this, because then we will get maximum out of this, okay, when we go slow. And if we know the purpose why we are studying and what is basically in it, then it will be.
Sorry, Uma, question. I missed the second part. So Shivananji gave him his sannyas, and what is the name of the other guru that
Tapovan Maharaj.
Tapovan Maharaj.
Tapovan Maharaj. And if you have the book, right, Geeta? So that, see, message divine, right in the beginning, 2 words on Kathopanishad, Sadguru Shri Swami Tapovanji Maharaj. So Tapovanji Maharaj was the one from whom he learned very deep Vedanta and all that. He stayed there many, many years, I think 7 years, and in a small kutia over there. I think we saw the movie, right, in this class. One time I was gone. There is a beautiful movie, Geeta, that sometime when you get a chance, I will tell you where it is. Maybe it is available online now. It tells you his whole life story. And then you will get a great picture of the entire thing. So we will start with this message divine. Okay. Who is the person who never read and has a book now that would like to read? Who raised the hand? Okay, Geeta. Fantastic. Chalo.
Where am I reading?
Okay, everybody has that page. It's page 1 only on mine. Message divine, it says. Right in the beginning, Geeta.
Introduction से भी पहले?
हाँ. Because जब मैंने message divine पढ़ा, मेरे को बहुत अच्छा लगा. Because what he has done, before you go into it, he has actually taken some verses from Kathopanishad and tell you, things. So I think that if we get this nice preview, it will be very useful for us, our studies. Sabko mil gaya? Everybody has it? So what you can do, Geeta, is you can read up to this one verse, है ना, वो उन्होंने बोला है वहाँ तक पढ़ना, फिर next one somebody else can read because it's quite long. That's what I was saying. Okay, go ahead.
Kathopanishad is perhaps the clearest of all the 10 classical Upanishads. Upanishad means Brahma Vidya, that is, the knowledge of Brahma.
Okay, say Brahman. Sorry, I just want to interrupt you here for a minute for the entire class. When we say Brahma, we may confuse. That comes from Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. This is Brahman. So when we say the word Brahman, that means that ultimate reality. When we say Brahma, means just a part of the power, the creative power. So that's the difference. Okay, sorry to interrupt.
Kathopanishad explains Brahma Vidya most clearly, most vividly, and repeats the essentials without making the subject complicated by unconsciously mixing up upasanas with it, as almost all the other Upanishads do. It goes on adding color after color in its description of the pure Atma, which is Brahman, the only reality. The root cause of all the miseries and calamities of this world is ignorance, avidya. By instinct or by intellect, a man thinks that he is the body. This is ignorance. Body cannot be the meaning of I. I am Atma, ever shining, everlasting, eternal, pure consciousness. To understand Atma in such a way, by intellectual thinking and discrimination, and to experience it by clear perception and realization, is called knowledge. This self-knowledge, this Atma Vidya, was demanded by Nachiketaha and Yamaraj. And Yamaraj explained it in a simple style, adopting different methods. This constitutes the whole text.
Okay, you can stop here for a minute. There are certain points I want to make sure we all understood. So he's saying that, firstly, the topic is Brahma Vidya, which is of all Upanishads anyway. But the reason Kathopanishad became so popular because very clearly and vividly and repeats the essential. It repeats many times, but the essentials without making it too complicated, it said. And unconsciously mixing up Upasana with it. Now, what does that mean? Upasana is the method to get there. And that's what the same thing Bhagavad Gita does. It gives, and Krishna Bhagavan started with the highest concept in chapter 2. We are eternal, and talked about Atma and all. And then he started systematically how to attain that. That's exactly what Kathopanishad does. It unconsciously mixes the Upasana because they realize that in this world there are people at different stages and they need to do certain. Upasana means effort to get there. So when we say Upasana, don't think it's just sitting and doing bhajan or doing our meditation or doing... No, it can be any or all of it all together or just one method. That does not matter. So the method doesn't matter, but if you know the goal, then you can pick the Upasana that is more appropriate for your type of temperament. Okay, so that Upasana is also told in this. And then it just uses... And then the main thing it's talking about, the root cause of all miseries and calamities in the world is ignorance, avidya. Not knowing who you are causes all the problems according to him. Bhagavad Gita said the same thing. And he's saying, and here he says, by instinct or by intellect. हमारी बुद्धि हमको दी गई है self-realization के लिए, but we start using it for wrong stuff. और instinct भी हमारे क्या होता है? That we think we are the body. We all know it. No matter how much we deny it, we all are so attached. This is called ignorance according to, Tapovan Maharaj. Body cannot be the meaning of I because I is much bigger. And I, he's talking about that's Atma, ever shining, everlasting, eternal, pure, conscious, all the things that we have learned in, the Upanishad that we did, and Bhagavad Gita is saying the same thing. So, to understand Atman in such a way by intellectual thinking and discrimination, and to experience it by clear perception and realization. He's going to talk about it further, that intellectually understanding is just one phase of it. And that is not the goal. That you have to experience it, and he's going to again and again hammer it, that don't stop at intellectual understanding. That means you have not gained anything. So he's saying that first intellectually understand it, then do your sadhana, and don't give up until you reach that final goal. So the sadhana is very, very important. Never to give up your sadhana, and you should know what is helping you and keep following that. Okay, and then we know that this is everybody knows now who Nachiketa a little bit is, and conversation between them, and he's going to see how it whole thing came about. Okay, so now this is the Sanskrit. I will just say this word, Sammodate modaniyam hi labdva. And now you can read the meaning here. And this is from Kathopanishad itself, from first chapter, and they call it Valli. It's divided into different section. Valli means vine, like बेल जिसको बोलते हैं ना हिंदी में, जो बेल चढ़ती है किसी ट्री के ऊपर. So the main concept is there, and then there are other concept that उसके support से, tree के support से ऊपर चढ़ती है. So that's why they've just called it Vallis, and then verse 13. So that's what it is.
Having attained the blissful Atma, he becomes happy. Atma is of the nature of eternal bliss. The only source of happiness is Atma, and that Atma is one's own self. It is already attained. Therefore, its attainment is nothing but to know it. It is not to be attained or enjoyed as an object, like a mango or an apple. Atma, the pure Chaitanya, is ever luminous in all its glory in this body. The man of ignorance does not know it, though he is doing all his actions by that Chaitanya. Therefore, Mother Shruti says with wonder and sorrow.
Okay, so you can stop here for a minute, and maybe somebody else can read. But before you go, I just want to say what he's saying here. Sa modate madniya labdva. Having attained the blissful Atman, he becomes happy. Because remember, he said that all the sorrows are because you don't realize Atman. One who realizes Atman becomes happy. That's one point. And then he's saying that the only source of happiness is Atman. So there are two meanings here almost. One is that जो परमानेंट खुशी है, इटर्नल खुशी है, वो सिर्फ आत्मा को प्राप्त करने के बाद ही मिल सकती है. बट ऑल्सो मीन्स कि दुनिया में भी जितनी खुशी हमको दिखती है, मिलती है, इन द वर्ल्ड ऑल्सो, सपोज समबडी इज नॉट ऑन सम स्पिरिचुअल पैथ, उसको भी थोड़ी बहुत खुशियां तो मिलती है ना. उसको कुछ लड्डू खा लिया तो खुशी मिल जाती है, या कुछ हो गया अच्छा हो गया. ऑल दैट इज कमिंग फ्रॉम दैट ब्रह्मन ओनली. वी हैव दिस नोशन कि वो लड्डू में खुशी है या किसी चीज में. नो, because where we feel our happiness, we feel it in our own heart. And then in Bhagavad Gita is going to open up that why do you feel happy? Because your agitation is down at the moment. तुम्हारे को agitation हो रहा था कि मुझे ये चाहिए वो चाहिए, मिल गया तो थोड़ा सा agitation down हो गया, आत्मा का वो आनंद ऊपर आ गया. So everything, every happiness, the source is only Atma and Atma only. That's one point that I wanted to bring it over here. And another thing is, जो भी हम लोग काम कर रहे हैं, anything and everything that we are doing is because of the power of Chaitanya. And that's why, like dead men cannot talk or walk, because वो Chaitanya से connection टूट गया उसका. That switch, the equipment has gone bad, it cannot express it. But you need that Chaitanya to express anything. So even if knowingly or unknowingly, the power is coming from Brahman only. That's the basic message he's giving it over here. Okay. Any question on this concept that he's saying? Okay, now who wants to read the next? I can just do the Sanskrit, and then you can decide who's going to read. Uttishta Jagrata Prapya Varani Bodhata. That's the Kathopanishad ka, again, chapter 1, Valli 3 and 14th verse. Who decided to? Sushil ji. We cannot hear you, Sushil ji. Cannot hear you.
Okay. Arise, awake, sitting at the feet of Mahatmas, the realized soul, know it, realize it. The knowledge of Atman, the destroyer of ignorance, is being discussed again and again in the Kathopanishad and can be easily understood and fully realized by an intelligent and faithful aspirant who is hearing and studying it. The knowledge, I am eternal and ever blissful Brahman, I am beyond the body, sense and mind, which a man acquires by simply hearing the Upanishad, cannot be perfect and therefore would produce no great result. Incessant flow of remembrance of Atman in the mind that I am pure, blissful, birthless, and deathless Atman, like the continuous flow of the Ganga, is called perfect knowledge, Jnana, which alone can destroy ignorance, avidya, and give perpetual peace.
So here a very, very important point he's making, that intellectually we can get it. All of us are 100% capable of it. You study enough and you know that, okay, intellectually I know I'm the eternal and ever blissful Brahman, but he's saying simply hearing it cannot be perfect and therefore it's not going to produce any result. What does he want? Incessant flow of the Atmic remembrance in mind. I am pure, blissful. Continuously remembering. And remember I had told you that our teacher used to say that Tanpura was, Meena ji had made a comment that how Tanpura has some kind of a tune. वो तानपुरा अगर बजना चाहिए कि constantly हमारे पीछे कि भाई that is the power of everything, that is it. But हम लोग जब स्टडी क्लास में होते हैं या कोई प्रवचन सुनते हैं तो हम लोग को हाँ बहुत अच्छा एकदम हम लोग उसमें मग्न हो जाते हैं. जैसे ही दुनिया में बाहर गए we forget everything and we don't do things in karma yoga, we don't do things in yagna spirit, we become selfish, all those, and then problem happens. So he's saying जैसे गंगा का फ्लो है ना वैसे continuously वो perfect knowledge हमेशा याद होना चाहिए. And now you remember in chapter 2 we did sthita prajna, lakshan of sthita, one who is established in that knowledge, not just passing information or just intellectual. He actually lives it. It comes naturally to him. Once he's established everything, all the action comes naturally to him. That's what he's talking about. And that's the only thing that can destroy the ignorance and give perpetual peace, means continuous peace. That's what he's talking about. Okay, so what we can do is, we can stop here since it's already 12:30 and we can do our other discussion. जिसके भी मन में जो कुछ प्रश्न है, आध्यात्मिक प्रश्न.
I think you should tell us who was Nachiketa. That will be a good foundation for us.
So the reason I was going to, and then I realized that Nachiketa is already वो first few verses जब हम करेंगे ना स्नेहा, उसमें already वो story है. एक son of व्रजशवा ऐसे करके एक राजा था, उसका बेटा था. और since you brought it up, I'll just very briefly tell you. तो उसमें क्या हो रहा था, वो राजा एक यज्ञ कर रहा था. Okay? और उसमें दान देते हैं ना, सैक्रिफाइस करते हैं. तो वो बूढ़ी गायों का दान दे रहा था, जो एकदम जैसे लोग बोलते हैं ना कि यहाँ पर कोई चीज़ें बेकार हो गई है, दे दो, यू नो. सो जब वो बूढ़ी गायों का दान दे रहा था तो ये इसका बेटा नचिकेता देख रहा था और उसने देखा कि फादर तो बूढ़ी गायों का दान दे रहा है और ये जो गाय ब्राह्मण को दे दी, दूध तो देती नहीं है, ये मरने वाली है बेचारे ब्राह्मण को बोझ हो जाएगा. It's not a dan anymore. It's like, I'll tell you sometimes, the parents who are like, my age, they said, our son brought me a gift and that was a little puppy. I said, my God, वो puppy है कि इतना बड़ा responsibility which you're not ready to take. It's like when you're giving a gift, think what they want, So I'm giving a very kind of crude example, but basically he just realized, and then he was thinking about his father, कि father पाप का भागी बनेगा. So he kept interrupting his father that, that he was a little boy, so he didn't know how to express himself. So he said, who will you give me as a dan, or something like that. Father got irritated, constantly bugging him, ki, why you're giving this guy and all that. He said, go to hell. You know how in our modern language is say, then the father said, I'll give you to death. गुस्से में आके बोल दिया उसको, I give you to death. So he kind of, in the equivalent, I'm saying, and how we get irritated with some teenagers, they go to hell or something, गुस्से में आके. So उसने बेचारे ने literally ले लिया उसको. तो बोला, okay, you gave it to me death, I gotta go meet death now. It's a symbolic thing. So basically then he goes and knocks at Yamraj's door. And then that's how the conversation starts. So that's where Nachiketa, little boy. Does that make sense, Sneha? But this couple of things will come. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I have one comment and one question also. This first is, we were talking about the Guru Dakshina the other day. Just what we did in chapter 3 on our 12th verse, I think, where it says you got to give in return for what you get. That's where this concept of Guru Dakshina came in. Just an explanation of that. I think that's where it says that way. And the second